Welcome back to another week of Cooking with Mr. Starr. I thought we'd throw you a curveball this week. Instead of dinner, we'll try a little dessert. We're going to make a nice cobbler. These are great for the fall, great for a nice rainy day like today. So we're going to take a nice glass pan. I'm going to make a peach and blueberry cobbler. So to prepare my pan, you can either butter it, some non-cooking spray. This is about 2.5 cans worth of peaches. We're just going to dump it in. Nice and spread out. Peach cobbler you see everywhere, but how often do you see peach and blueberry cobblers? So we're going to add some frozen blueberries. Just going to kind of toss around. I'm using the wild blueberries because they're a little smaller. This way, I feel like everyone's going to get a little bit of a bite. These will cook down. So these are actually frozen. I bought the frozen bag. It's okay, they're frozen going in. They don't take as much. And now we got to make the wonderful topping. To make the wonderful topping on any cobbler, we're going to start off with 3/4 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of sugar, and then a teaspoon of baking powder. This way it'll rise up in the oven. Now I'm just going to whisk it together. Now normally, you would dump in the butter, but I found it's hard to cut in the butter to get tiny enough pieces so when you spread it out evenly. So we're actually going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to toss this in here. And I'm going to actually just drop the butter in all around into this lovely little food processor. And what this will do is it'll chop up the butter into small little pieces. It's just going to make it easier to spread out. This is one of those little tricks I've seen on the Food Network plenty of times, but it's worked for us a couple times. Alright. Let's get it lined up. We're going to give it a pulse a couple times. I think there it goes. It's also a good little trick when you're making like a shortbread, because sometimes it's really hard to properly use a pastry cutter to mix it all in. And now my flour, sugar, and butter are all nice and mixed in tiny little beads. So now all I have to do is just kind of sprinkle it on. Let's see, it's already mixed. We're ready to go. See, I'll make life easier. So as this cooks, the butter will melt, which obviously will be wonderful. And it's going to mix with the sugar, so it should hopefully caramelize. And all the liquids should incorporate with the flour. And when we're done, we'll have a nice, wonderful meal. Now, in the oven, it's going to go for about 45 minutes for everything to bake up. We're actually cooking this ahead of time because it's only about lunchtime here, which is fine because it's like a pie. It can sit out for a while and be okay. Alright, we'll see you guys in about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how long it takes for it to brown completely on top. I'll see you then. Welcome back. The timer went off on the oven, so let's check on how our cobbler is looking. Oh yeah, it's starting to look real good. Pull this out. Bubbling around the edges. That's why part of the reason we made it early. Some of those blueberries did a good job. So, we're going to let it cool down for a little bit before you try to serve this. We're going to recommend definitely let it cool, but then when you do finally go to serve it, I recommend a scoop of vanilla ice cream. We'll see you again next week, back to another traditional meal on Cooking with Mr. Starr.